If you're holding crypto on an exchange right now, Coinstash, Stormrake, OKX, Independent Reserve, Coinbase or CoinSpot, I need you to pay attention to this video. From the 1st of July 2026, Australian exchanges are legally required to flag, record, and in some cases report every single withdrawal that you make to self-custody or to other exchanges. That's only 4 weeks away. Today I'm going to show you exactly what the travel rule is, what it means for your holdings, and how to set up cold storage the right way, whilst you can still do it on your terms. And I'm going to share a story later in this video about a well-known musician who lost $430,000 of Bitcoin in a single afternoon. Not because he was careless, not because he was a beginner, but because of one mistake that he made about cold storage setup. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is, how to make sure you never do this mistake. The travel rule is a FATF, that's the Financial Actions Task Force standard, and it's been applied to the banking transfers for decades. When you wire money internationally, your bank has to pass your name, your address, your account details, all to the receiving institution. The crypto equivalent to this kicks in on July the 1st for all Australians. And here's what it means practically. When you withdraw your crypto from an exchange to a cold storage wallet, your exchange is now going to determine if that wallet is actually yours. If it's a personal wallet, they'll need to flag it and keep a record of it. If it's an exchange wallet, then they're not only going to record it, but they're going to report it directly to AUSTRAC. You're not being accused of anything, but your moves just became a compliant event. And if you're holding your crypto inside a self-managed super fund or a company structure, then don't stress, because I've got a specific section later in this video that'll cover you, because the compliance picture is actually different and most accountants don't know the answers yet. All right, so what's actually changing at exchanges right now? Here's the part that most people haven't noticed yet. Australian exchanges are already building this infrastructure. Independent Reserve sent users a notification in April asking them to go into their address book and tag each withdrawal address. Is this a personal wallet or was it an exchange, is what they were asking. Once July the 1st hits, that tagging is now tied to your KYC profile. The exchange knows it's your wallet and they have your ID, and that withdrawal is logged against your name. Now, is that the end of the world? No, but if you care about your financial privacy, which is a completely legitimate thing to care about, then the window is absolutely closing for you to move your crypto off exchange and into cold storage before it becomes an automatic part of their infrastructure. I want to be clear, I'm not suggesting you do anything to avoid legal obligations. What I am saying is self-custody has always been the right security practice. And right now you have a short window to do it in the most straightforward way possible. Now, before I show you the exact setup process, I want to tell you about a scam that's been doing the rounds, specifically targeting people who try to set up cold storage for the first time. Because if you're not aware of it, none of what we're talking about right now is going to matter, or it's going to matter in the wrong way. But let's take a step back from the regulation for just a second, because even if there was no travel rule, cold storage is something that I'd be telling you to do anyway. Not your keys, not your coins. We saw this with FTX. We've seen it with exchange hacks. When your crypto lives on an exchange, you don't actually hold it. You hold an IOU. Cold storage means moving your crypto to a hardware wallet, a physical device that stores your crypto keys completely offline. It cannot be hacked remotely. It's not accessible to exchanges that go under, and it's not a subject to an exchange freeze or withdrawal limits. For anyone in a serious wealth building position, leaving 6 figures on an exchange is the equivalent of leaving your gold in someone else's safe. Sure, it might be safe, but you're relying on someone else to keep it that way. And we've seen far too many crypto exchanges like FTX fail to do that. All right, so let's have a look at a practical guide of setting up your cold storage wallet. The first step that you need to do is choose the hardware wallet that you want. I personally recommend Trezor. Trezor is fully open source. You can store your Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other ERC20 coins, Solana, and many other coins on Trezor. You can buy it direct from the manufacturer's website. I have a referral link in the description. It's up to you if you want to use that. Just make sure you're landing on the real Trezor website, trezor.io. Never buy from a third party, and if the seal is broken when it arrives, send it back straight away. The second step, download the software correctly. This is where I need to stop and tell you about the G-Love story. Garrett Dutton, the lead singer of G-Love and Special Sauce. In April this year, he lost nearly 6 Bitcoin, roughly $430,000 at the time, to a simple mistake. He'd just bought a new Mac. He needed to reinstall, in this case, he was using a Ledger, not a Trezor, but he needed to reinstall the Ledger software. And instead of going directly to ledger.com, he searched the Apple Store. He found what looked like the Ledger Live app. He downloaded it. It asked him to enter his 24 seed phrase. He did that, and in an instant, nearly a decade of his retirement funds were gone. The app was fake. It had bypassed Apple's review process despite being misspelt Ledger Live with a special character in the name. His own words afterwards was, "You can't trust Apple, there's no gatekeepers." Now, this is a rare edge case. There are fake Trezor apps that have gone exactly the same thing. The App Store is not a safe source for wallet software. Google Play is not a safe source. Even Google search results can serve fake results. So the rule is simple. Type the URL in yourself and only download from Trezor.io website if you're using a Trezor. Do not make the Garrett Dutton mistake. And there's something even more fundamental here. A legitimate wallet app will never, under any circumstances, ask you to enter your seed phrase into your computer. The moment an app asks for your seed phrase on your computer, on your phone, or on a website, close it immediately. That request is an attack. And it doesn't stop at fake apps. Right now, there are phishing emails, fake websites appearing all over Google search results, and even physical letters are being emailed or mailed to known Ledger and Trezor customers on forged letters with QR codes leading to sites asking for your seed phrase. The attack surface is absolutely everywhere. The defense is the same every time. Type the URL in yourself, never enter your seed phrase into anything connected to the internet. If you're sitting there thinking, this sounds too complicated for me, I'm not sure what to do next, and I don't want to do this alone, then that's exactly what my free live webinar is for. Working with professionals when you're setting this up is like insurance. You might not realize how much you need it until something goes wrong. And when it does go wrong in crypto, it's permanent. There's no call center, no dispute resolution, the funds are gone. There's a link in the description of this video for you to register to my free live webinar. You can click on that link and come along. It's absolutely free every second Thursday at 5 p.m. and it could be the difference between setting up successfully in crypto and doing the wrong thing. Step 3, setting up your device and securing your seed phrase. When you initialize the device, it generates your seed phrase, a sequence of 12 to 24 words. This seed phrase is your wallet. Anyone who has it can access your funds from absolutely anywhere in the world. So write it down on a piece of paper. Do not photograph it. Do not type it into any device, including your phone, your computer, or notes on an app. Buy a metal seed phrase backup. This product can be purchased from something like Crypto Steel. They're available in Australia, and it's basically fireproof in case a fire happens in your house. Piece of paper would obviously get burnt. Store your seed phrase in a location which is physically separate from the hardware itself, the hardware wallet, and also away from your home if possible. Personally, I have no crypto or wallets at my home. I do not want to get my home targeted. So ideally keep a backup in a safe and secure place that's in a separate location to your home. Not in a password manager, not in your email, not in the cloud, not photographed on your phone. Step 5, verify both your backup phrase works, as well as verify your wallet before transfers. So before sending large amounts, attempt to restore the wallet using the seed phrase that you've written down. That ensures that if you do ever lose the wallet, you know how to get the backup, how to load it back onto the wallet, a new wallet that you buy, and how to get going again. Now, of course, also verify your wallet address before you do the transfers. So when you move funds, send a small test transaction, say $50 worth, and confirm it actually arrives in the right place. You need to do this every single time, no exceptions. I always send a test transfer before I send the larger portion of funds. All right, so back to the travel rule, and I need to be clear here, the window is closing for you to be able to privately use your cold storage wallet. Let's talk about what the day one after the 1st of July actually looks like, because it's not what most people think. From July the 1st, the travel rule is going live. Your exchange will be recording and in some cases reporting your withdrawals to compliance. That's the compliance infrastructure that's going live. What we don't fully know yet is how each Australian exchange will handle the self-hosted wallet verification process after July the 1st. For some exchanges, it might be as simple as just ticking a box confirming you own the wallet. For other exchanges, it might be more rigorous, like cryptographically signing a transaction to prove ownership or something along the lines of that. Every exchange will implement this differently, and the details are still being worked out as we speak. What is certain from July the 1st though is your withdrawal will trigger a verification step. It's tied to your identity. The infrastructure that didn't exist yesterday will now exist after July the 1st. All right, guys, so that's it for the travel rule and cold storage wallets. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. I absolutely reply to every single comment. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. Any major updates for Australian crypto holders, I will absolutely reporting them to you as soon as possible. If you like the video, hit the like button. Can't wait to read your comments, and I'll see you in the next episode.